It ends with us. That's what that means. That is so good. Hello wonderful world, Elayne here, and today I am starting a reading vlog. So, I'm sure as you know from the title, I am going to be reading It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I have had this book on my list for days, weeks, months, years, people. And I'm starting to get serious FOMO because this book is all over the YouTubes, all over my For You page. It's just everywhere. I feel like everyone in the world has read this book except for me. And that can no longer happen. So I will finally be reading this book. This morning I started it. I got up, I came outside and read, as you saw, and I have read the first interaction between Ryle and Lily, and it was good. But at first I was like, okay, this is like really awkward and like kind of weird and forced. And then as I read it more, I was like, okay, this is getting fun. I like the banter, I like the humor. But then it was also really heavy, and if it's already this heavy, I just imagine that it's going to get only heavier from this point forward. It's gonna be a journey, isn't it? We got Dunkin', so I'm gonna drink my Dunkin' and keep reading, and I will update you guys as I read and let you know what I'm feeling. Guys, I can't believe Lily wrote letters to Ellen DeGeneres. That is a choice. That is a choice that she made. I was just swinging here reading. Next thing I knew, I just woke up and I have to leave for work in about 20-30 minutes. I don't know if it was the swinging motion or me being right by the sunny window or this little sleepy cat influencing me, but yeah, I just was out. Anyways, I'm liking this book so far. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to play out. Like, I'm not sure how Atlas is going to fit into the story. Like, if it's going to be strictly a past thing, or if, like, he's going to come back, or if, like, just understanding what happened with him is just going to be really important for the storyline. I'm not entirely sure how it's all going to fit together, but I am excited to find out. Anyways, I'm going to keep reading now that I'm awake for 10-20 minutes, and then I'm going to go to work. Unfortunately, I work from 5 to 11:30. I'm home from work. It's 1 a.m. and I can't stop reading. I should be going to bed, but I got my book light and my book. And yeah, it's getting good, and I'm going to give you all my updates in the morning. Good morning. It's a new day. And I wanted to quickly chat about my thoughts on It Ends With Us. I am on page 103. So I read 100 pages yesterday. Here's my thoughts. I really like it. Like, I'm starting to get really, really engrossed in the story. Like, last night I started to read a little bit after work, and I read, and then I couldn't stop reading, and then I was like, okay, girl, you've got to go to bed. So I did. But, like, I really want to know what's gonna happen, okay? I really like Ryle and Lily's relationship, but also, I'm not gonna say I really like it, because I think Ryle does some really, like, sexy things. Like, he's very dominant, though, and he's definitely an alpha male, and I can tell that, like, he's gonna be in, I don't know, like, I feel like he's in charge. But then, like, Lily also does things and, like, sets boundaries, but I want her to be better at setting boundaries. I want her to be like, no. And I feel like she's done that, like, a tiny bit. Like, she's like, we're not having sex. Good boundary. But, like, I feel like there needs to be a couple more boundaries set. You know? Like, he does things like takes the coffee mug out of her hand and takes a sip, and I'm like, okay, dude, just get your own mug. I don't know. Am I being paranoid? Am I feeling like this book is gonna be tragic, and so I'm like looking for red flags? Should I just stop and enjoy the romance? I don't know. My other like just minor thoughts is like, what are the odds that Ryle's sister walks into her flower shop? Like, what are the odds of that? It's Boston. I guess the odds are pretty good because it happened, but I just think that's so silly. I hope we get more of Lily's mom because I do like reading about their relationship. It's just something that I'd want to see further developed because it seems like Lily has a lot of pent up feelings when it comes to her parents, and I would love for that to be like further fleshed out and to like just see the relationship develop. And, you know, especially with her dad being dead, like how their relationship is gonna grow. And we've definitely seen that a little bit so far in the book, but I want more. That's pretty much everything right now. I'm trying to just like stop and enjoy the romance, but I feel like, I mean, I'm 100 pages in and they're like together. They haven't had sex yet. So this means it's either gonna be a slow burn and when they finally get together it's gonna be fireworks, or something crazy is gonna happen and it's gonna be like really tragic and it's gonna somehow parallel her relationship in the past. I don't know. I'm just like throwing things out there, but I feel like everybody cries at this book and everybody is like, oh my gosh. And I don't know, just this on the back. Sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. I'm like, I don't know. I just be hunting for red flags now. Okay, back home. I'm reading again and that no sex thing didn't last very long, did it? LMAO, they're doing it right now where I'm at. But I'm kind of disappointed with it because it lacked the build-up that I prefer. It didn't, they just like jumped right into it. He was like there's this line, hold on, this is gonna get dirty, LMAO. Okay, it said, once he's back into the covers and the condom is in place, he doesn't even hesitate. He takes me brazenly in one swift thrust. And like, that's like fine and all, but like, I'm just a little disappointed. I really wanted some like more build-up, I guess. LMAO. I really like slow burns where like you wait the whole book and then when they get together it's fireworks and then just after that it's more fireworks and more fireworks. And this is like really early on for the fireworks, which is like fine, but that means something else is gonna happen. But anyways, I'm gonna keep reading it. Guys, this is making me giggle and squeal. I finished that scene and there's so many quotes in there. But he was like, you are so right. You're a drug, but you fail to tell me you're the most addictive kind. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go for a walk. I made it to the bookstore, but I almost died from the heat. I walked from my sister's sports training thing to this bookstore coffee shop, and I'm gonna read. Atlas is back? I knew something crazy was gonna happen. I could feel it in my bones. Shit's getting real. It's getting real. Okay, so there's only one more entry left of Lily's Ellen diaries, letters. Really enjoy learning about her past. I think it explains a lot about why she is the way she is. And it also helps me to really understand her and her mom's relationship, which is something I mentioned earlier that I really want to see further developed. So I like getting this glimpse into her past, even if it is really hard to read. I'm assuming people who are watching this have like read this book, but like trigger warnings for like domestic abuse and like sexual violence, and yeah, it's pretty heavy, which I was kind of expecting. I honestly had no idea what this book was about, but I knew it was going to deal with something really heavy, just from like the tagline and what I've seen on social media. And yeah, it's definitely pretty heavy and it can be hard to read at times. But then also there's a lot of like fun romance scenes and a lot of sweet moments, especially her and Atlas's relationship. And I'm really anxious to see what's gonna happen because, you know, they made that promise about if they were ever in Boston, they would find each other and da-da-da-da. And like, I don't know, like why didn't she do that? Why didn't she seek out Atlas? Like what happened? So I've got to get to that last journal entry to like finally complete their story. I really liked these journal entries. At first I was kind of like, this is weird, like what does this have anything to do with? But now I like it because it does give us a deeper insight into Lily and her family, and yeah. Guys, am I supposed to trust Ryle or not? Like right now, he's about to cry because his sister is pregnant. And it's like, that's really sweet. Is it an act? Like, because I feel like my guard is up because of this book and like the things that have happened in the past. So my guard is up with Ryle. Should I just let it down? So just let him in? Is that a mistake? I don't know. Ugh. Guys, if Ryle is bad, I'm gonna feel so betrayed. Oh my gosh, what? This is chaotic. I have my retainer in, so that's why, and this is my cat. Anyways, like I was saying, if Ryle is bad, I'm gonna feel literally so betrayed because he keeps doing really sexy things. Like right now, him and Lily, they're doing stuff, okay? And he said, don't move. And then she moved and he said, I said, don't move. Like, he's kind of sexy. Okay, anyways, this is really chaotic. I just wanted to pop in to say that because if he's a meanie head, I'm gonna feel so sad. I guess my cat also really wants to read It Ends With Us because this is the situation right now. Hi, I have to pop in again. I'm sorry. I know this lighting is not the best, but it's just sexy thing after sexy thing in this. Oh, like right now he's using his stethoscope. Okay, it's just like sexy thing after sexy thing with Mr. Dr. Ryle Kincaid. And I know shit is going to hit the fan because things are so perfect and so sexy, and what's gonna happen, and is it gonna break my heart? I knew it was gonna happen. I knew I had my guard up for a reason. I knew that this wasn't gonna be a happy story. I'm just disappointed because he was really starting to be sexy and he just is perfect on paper. Why do men have to be assholes? Seriously though, like on a realer note, I feel just absolutely horrible for Lily because it's just everything that she's dealt with in the past and everything she's been through. It's just all gonna come rushing back right now. And she really was starting to succeed in life, you know, with her business, and she had a sexy doctor boyfriend. And her life is gonna be rough for a bit. Damn. I really had my hopes up. I was like, maybe you're wrong, Elayne. Just crush down those thoughts. But I just knew. All his sweet texts. Just goes to show. Some people talk real good, but they can't follow up those words with real good actions. This is literally so much worse than I thought. And it's getting so bad and I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Why is Ryle so mean? Why is he so bad and so mean? And why does he say the things that he's saying in Pilot not the time? Okay, but for real, I genuinely don't know if I can finish this scene. Like, I might just have to stop this book forever. No, I'm not actually gonna do that, but like, that's how I feel right now. They're eating at Bib's with Alyssa, Marshall, and then Ryle and Lily are there. And Lily and Alice were just in the bathroom. Hello, it is the next morning. And I want to talk about what I am thinking and what I am feeling about It Ends With Us so far. Where to start? Okay. Here's where I'll start. This is a very minuscule thing, but I just wanted to mention it. When Ryle was saying, these are the steadiest hands in all of Boston. These hands are $1 million hands and da-da-da. You know what I mean? When he was saying how much his hands mean to him and how important they are, I was like, bestie, something is about to happen to your hands. Because all I could think about when he was saying that is Doctor Strange, all I could think was like, oh my gosh, Stephen Strange put so much into his hands and his hands meant everything to him, and then when they were gone, his career was also gone. And yeah, but now Doctor Strange can do the like, you know? So I was kind of thinking in my head like, okay, I know something's gonna happen to his hands, but it probably is not going to end as cool as Doctor Strange. It's probably gonna be more, a little more tragic. That's where I want to jump into the next thing that I want to talk about, which is just how powerful I think Colleen Hoover's depiction of Lily and her mother's relationship is. Earlier I said I wanted more of it, and I am getting more of it. And now I understand just how important those old letters were, because we got to see a glimpse into Lily's mother and father's relationship. And we don't really get into Jenny's head, but we do get to see how she kind of, made excuses for Lily's dad, and how she stayed in that abusive relationship. And we kind of see Lily's judgment towards her mom and all these like pent up feelings that she had towards her mother for staying with her dad. And Lily kind of lacked an understanding. Like, that's fair, because she had to grow up seeing, an abusive relationship, and she wanted her mom to be safe, but also she never really understood what exactly her mom was going through on like a personal level. And now Lily does understand. And I think that the way that Colleen Hoover is paralleling Lily's parents' relationship with Lily and Ryle's relationship is really well done. And it just goes to show how much representation matters and how much other relationships affects our own. It was really easy for Lily to say, I would never do what my mom is doing. I would kick him out. I wouldn't stand for this. I would leave. Now Lily is finding herself in a relationship similar to the one of her parents, and she's doing similar things as what her mom did. And I think that this is just so important, because I think she was internalizing the things that she was witnessing and seeing the way that her mom acted. Like I said, it just goes to show how much representation does matter, and how much us seeing healthy relationships is important for our own growth and our own understanding of love and marriage. And there's actually a page in here that I think is really, really well done. It's when, everything goes down with Ryle for the first time, and it says, I don't hear Ryle's voice this time. All I hear is my father's voice. I'm sorry, Jenny. It was an accident. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Lily. It was an accident. I'm so sorry. And that's Ryle speaking. And the way that they're just like, I don't know if you can, it's right here. Like the way that they're just like stacked up on top of each other like that. It was just really powerful, in my opinion. There are a lot of moving parts happening in this story right now that I just want to see how they're all going to work together. I want to put all the puzzle pieces together, see the final picture. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say right now, was just the hand thing, and then how Colleen Hoover is portraying this cycle of abusive relationships, and like the mother-daughter relationship, and like how, there's always this saying of like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And it's crazy, because a lot of times that's true, which stinks. I just think that Colleen Hoover's doing a really good job of like playing out that trope or that theme, or I don't know if it's like a societal principle. I don't know what it is, but I think it's cool to see that play out. But yes, anyways, so I'm gonna keep reading, and I will check in with you all later. I love when men tell you something traumatic that happened in their past, and then that's just supposed to excuse every horrible decision and action that they've ever made or done. Like I'm sorry that happened in your past, Ryle. I'm really sorry, because that sucks big time, and I understand that can make you really messed up and angry. But get therapy. Get therapy, and get therapy. Maybe you shouldn't push your wife down the stairs. Now I'm even more mad, because I just got to the line where he says, help me, Lily. I need you to help me. It is never a woman's responsibility to help a shitty man. Get help yourself. Go to therapy. Go to a doctor. It is not Lily's responsibility to fix you and help you get better. She's not your punching bag. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm literally so mad. And like, I feel really bad for him. And like, I know he has a really, really horrible, traumatic past. But like I said, that's not Lily's responsibility to like fix him and help him with his problems. He's a grown-ass man, and he also works in the medical field, and I understand that there's, all the stigma around men getting help and taking care of their mental health, and men are supposed to be tough and not need help. But like, he's a doctor, and he should know that sometimes people do need help, particularly men, and he needs help. And it is not Lily's help that he needs. It is a licensed professional. And I know he said that he's been in therapy since he was 6 or whatever, but like obviously it ain't working. That's why I'm saying he needs more therapy. He needs licensed professionals. He needs, not Lily. It sounds like he needs to continue to work on himself. And like I'm trying not to be that judgy, because you don't know what a person's going through, and like I don't know what's going through his head, and like he probably is in a really bad place all of the time, but like, yeah, it's not an excuse, and it shouldn't be an excuse for Lily to stay with him. Okay, this is like really hitting me in the heart because I'm trying to reread this scene again. This scene where like Ryle explains his past and like his trauma and stuff. I am so mad at Ryle, and like, you know, past trauma is not an excuse for like horrible behavior, but at the same time, past trauma does make people behave and act differently, and like you have to be understanding of that, but also like at what cost, and like how far do you go? Like how understanding can you be if you being understanding is causing yourself harm? Does that make any sense? There's this line, it's, I bring my hands to my face and I sob because I feel more pain for that man out there, knowing what he went through as a child, than I feel for myself. And that doesn't make me feel selfless or strong. It makes me feel pathetic and weak. I'm supposed to hate him. I'm supposed to be the woman my mother was never strong enough to be. And that right there, oh, it just got me in the gut, because I was talking earlier about, you know, the parallels between Lily and Jenny, and I don't know, it's just, oh, that just really got me. Guys, seriously, now it's saying that she needs to stop comparing herself and her and Ryle's relationship to her mom and dad, and then it's like, the way that her dad treated her mom was so much worse than her and Ryle, and like, I don't know, this is just all comparison. And then here's another one. Humans aren't perfect, and I can't let the only example I've ever witnessed of marriage weigh in on my own marriage. Yeah, you can't, but also you need to take in consideration that that is the only witness of marriage that you've ever seen. And that's probably affecting you, Lily, and you need to think about that too instead of just like tossing it aside. I don't know. Okay, me again. Now Lily is saying, like, you walk away, I walk away, and then you'll still be protecting me. Like, don't let your anger get the best of you, and don't do this to me again. And I want this to work so bad. I want it to work so bad. But unfortunately, I just don't think it is going to work out. I think she needs to leave him for her own safety. And Ryle needs to work on himself more before he can ever truly love somebody. Okay, I hope we get a scene where Lily talks to her mom, because Lily's saying all these things about her dad, like he was never compassionate, he never donated to charity, he never did the things that Ryle does. And that's all good and well, but she only knows her father from, you know, what she can remember. And that was him like at a later age. We don't know anything about what he was like when he was younger. Maybe he was exactly like Ryle. Maybe he wrote love poems and shit, and then things started going bad from there. Like maybe, I don't know, like she keeps on just saying these things about how her dad is nothing like Ryle, and she just doesn't know that at all. And so I hope she goes to her mom and like confides in her, and they can kind of talk and get everything out in the open, and then Jenny can give Lily advice, and like we can just see their relationship further blossom. But I don't know. This book makes me so confused, because sometimes really sweet things happen and Ryle behaves like such an amazing husband and he does great things, and I'm like, wow. And I really respect Lily for staying with him and wanting to help him become a better man and to, you know, deal with his past trauma and his issues. And I'm like, wow, like that's marriage, like sticking by each other through thick and thin and like helping each other grow. But then I just remember the things that he's done, and I'm just like, I don't know, I just want Lily to be safe. And I don't know, it's just, it makes me so confused. And just when you think Ryle might have redeeming qualities and that Lily is doing the respected thing of helping him, he goes and ruins it all by being an abusive a-hole. I think I'm finally just done with him. Like, I feel like I was done with him, but then sometimes I would be like, oh my gosh, like, why is he doing this sweet thing? Like, how can he be both a horrible, abusive monster, but also this sweet, loving husband and uncle at the same time? Like, I don't know. She's pregnant? Oh my gosh. Guys, Atlas is so good. He's just so good to her. And he's just a really good man. And I'm so glad that things have worked out for him. This is literally so embarrassing. Why? Why would she ask about Cassie, Atlas's ex-girlfriend? That's literally so embarrassing. I have to take a break. I have to go take a walk. That gave me secondhand embarrassment so bad. I'm literally about to sob my eyes out from Atlas. Is this a joke? This is a literal joke. Look how cute this is. Can you see that? Crying. Alyssa is just the best person. These parts here are starting to get my little tear ducts working up. I can feel them coming. This almost got me. When Alyssa tells Lily not to take Ryle back, I really wasn't expecting that, honestly, and it just makes me love her. And yet, it almost made me sob like a baby. It ends with us? That's what that means? That is so good. Just when I think I'm done crying, I just cry again. Can you see that? Okay, my final thoughts. So I have read quite a few Colleen Hoover books back in high school, so like 4-ish years ago. It was different and not what I was expecting. I went into this book knowing absolutely nothing about it, which I do not honestly recommend. I would recommend looking up trigger warnings because, you know, this book is really heavy. I'm really glad that we got the scene with Lily's mom. That is what I had been waiting for, and that is what I was kind of hoping this book was getting at, was the cycles that exist with domestic abuse and like within relationships. And you know, like I mentioned earlier, the whole phrase of the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I don't know, I just wanted that to be talked about, and Colleen Hoover did do that, and I'm really glad because I really enjoyed this scene with Lily and her mom, and Lily kind of getting more insight into her parents' relationship and gaining respect for her mom and closure, and I don't know, I just really liked that scene. The thing that I'm still kind of confused about was Atlas. Like, I'm not 100% sure why he was necessary for the story. Like, we see her getting with him in the epilogue, but like barely. Yes, he does help Lily when she decides to leave Ryle, but there could have easily been another character. Like, Devin could have been more fleshed out and could have been the person that helped Lily during that time. I'm not entirely sure why it was Atlas. Is there another book after this with Lily and Atlas? I'm gonna look it up. Okay, it looks like there is. It starts with us. Is that about Atlas and Lily? Because if so, then I kind of see why she put Atlas in there, just to set up a sequel, but other than that, I don't really understand his purpose. Maybe his purpose was to show Lily what a good man should be and what a good relationship should be. But also, like, Alyssa and Marshall could have served to show that. I'm not entirely sure what his purpose was, because their relationship in the present is never fully fleshed out. We just really get the past, and I don't know, like, what was his purpose? That's the only reason I didn't give this book 5 stars, because I loved the emotional roller coaster that this book took me on. I loved feeling like Lily. I loved falling in love with Ryle and then being completely heartbroken by him and then wanting to give him another chance and wanting to respect Lily for giving him another chance because of his past trauma, but then realizing that enough is enough. And I feel like I experienced all that with Lily, which just shows that Colleen Hoover did a really good job at writing this emotional aspect of the story and just taking me along the journey with Lily. I don't know, I just felt like I could feel everything that Lily was feeling, and I think that that's oh so important for a book like this, because that's how you get other people to understand the point of the book. And like, you know, stories, I believe, are like the most powerful thing in the world for change. And this book is a perfect example of walking a mile in somebody else's shoes because of a book. I don't know if any of this is making any sense, but what I'm trying to say is that Colleen Hoover put me in the mindset of Lily, and now I have learned and grown from this story. So now I kind of have more respect and understanding and empathy. And that's what reading is all about. So I ended up giving this book 4 out of 5 stars. I might bump it up to 4.5, but honestly I'm leaning more towards 4 just because I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of Atlas was. But if I read the sequel, maybe I'll find that out. Really enjoyed this. It was definitely a roller coaster. It definitely broke my heart and it made me cry. Anyways, this is my It Ends With Us reading vlog, and thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this book, what you rated it. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And just wanted to throw this out there. Remember that there are resources in the back of the book. If you or someone you love is a victim of domestic abuse, you can go to www.thehotline.org. I just wanted to put that out there because this was all pretty heavy topics, and yeah. If you need more info or resources, check that website out. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.